Have you ever wondered what the Pope really thinks about Donald Trump's claims of devout Christianity? Stick around, because you won't believe the revelations we're about to uncover. In a shocking twist, Pope Francis has repeatedly called out Trump, labeling him a liar and a fake. This heated dispute dates back to Trump's 2015 presidential rallies and has only intensified as the 2024 presidential campaign kicks into high gear. Trump, steadfast in his declarations of a great relationship with God and with evangelicals, finds himself at the center of a storm. Meanwhile, Pope Francis's doubts from 2016 have come roaring back, casting a long shadow over Trump's professed devotion. So, what did Pope Francis reveal? Why does he challenge Trump's religious authenticity? Dive into this explosive story and discover the truth that lies beneath the surface. Watch until the end to uncover the Pope's stunning allegations and the real story behind Trump's faith claims. Donald Trump's controversial promises. Pope Francis recently joined the debate about the U.S. presidential election by commenting on Donald Trump's candidacy. The Pope being on Donald Trump's case didn't just begin this year. It all started in 2016 when the Pope said that Trump doesn't act like a Christian because of his harsh promises to deport immigrants and build a wall on the U.S.-Mexico border. The Pope believes that a true Christian builds bridges, not walls. The Pope made these comments during a press conference on his plane while returning to Rome from a visit to Mexico. He also discussed other important issues like whether the Catholic Church should make exceptions to its rules against abortion and birth control in areas affected by the Zika virus. This virus is causing serious health problems in many countries, especially in Latin America, where the Catholic Church has a lot of influence. Scientists are worried about pregnant women getting infected with the Zika virus because it may cause serious birth defects like microcephaly. This condition makes a baby's head and brain much smaller than normal. The Pope was asked about this issue, and he made an important distinction between two things: abortion and birth control. He strongly rejected abortion, calling it a terrible mistake, but the Pope seemed more open to allowing birth control in special situations like this. He mentioned a past example where a pope allowed nuns in a dangerous situation to use contraceptives. The Pope thinks that preventing pregnancy is not always wrong and urged doctors to work hard to find a vaccine against the Zika virus. He wants to help protect people from getting sick and prevent more birth defects. Here's where it gets more interesting. Pope Francis's recent statements about Donald Trump and using birth control to prevent Zika will most probably generate a lot of discussion and debate. The World Health Organization has recommended that people in areas affected by Zika use condoms or abstain from sex if their partner is pregnant. But the Catholic Church has long opposed the use of artificial contraceptives, a stance that was reaffirmed in 1968. Even with this, many Catholics in Latin America and elsewhere ignore this rule and use birth control anyway. The Pope made his comments about Trump after finishing his visit to Mexico, where he led a large mass in Ciudad Juarez, a city on the U.S.-Mexico border. Before the Mass, he walked to the Rio Grande and laid flowers at a memorial honoring those who have died trying to cross the border. The Pope led a Mass in front of a massive crowd of over 200,000 people. They gathered just yards away from the border, listening as the Pope urged kindness and understanding for people who were fleeing dangerous situations, poverty, and war in their home countries. These migrants are seeking a safer life, and the Pope wants us to show them compassion. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has taken a very different stance on immigration. He has promised to build a wall between the U.S. and Mexico and deport more people. He has also made hurtful comments about Mexican immigrants, falsely accusing them of being criminals and rapists. The Pope's message of love and acceptance is in stark contrast to Trump's harsh rhetoric. The Pope was asked if he would try to influence Catholic voters in the U.S. presidential election, but he said he wouldn't get involved. After saying he would get himself involved, he suddenly started repeating his criticism of Donald Trump. The Pope said that if Trump really said the things he's been quoted as saying, then he's not a true Christian. But the Pope also said he's willing to give Trump the benefit of the doubt and assume he might have been misquoted. Donald Trump quickly responded to the Pope's comments at a campaign rally. He talked about the threat of the Islamic State and said that their ultimate goal is to attack the Vatican. Trump said that if the Vatican is ever attacked, the Pope will wish he had been elected president, implying that he would be the best person to protect the Vatican. Trump was trying to turn the Pope's criticism into a way to promote himself as a strong leader. Donald Trump said he likes the Pope. "I have a lot of respect for the Pope. I think he's got a lot of personalities, very different, and I think he's doing a very good job." But earlier, he had criticized the Pope's visit to the border. Trump thought the Pope was being political and doing what the Mexican government wanted. He didn't think the Pope understood the problems with the open border between the U.S. and Mexico. Trump believed Mexico was taking advantage of the situation and making money while the U.S. was losing out. Trump himself is a Presbyterian and has been trying to win over evangelical voters in the upcoming elections in the South. Not minding his criticism of the Pope, Trump tried to soften his stance by saying he likes the Pope, but his earlier comments showed his disagreement with the Pope's views on immigration and the border. Trump wants to build a wall and secure the border, while the Pope has been advocating for compassion and understanding for immigrants. That's not all. When asked about Donald Trump's comments, the Pope laughed and thanked God Trump called him a politician. He added that Aristotle said humans are political animals, so at least he was basically called a human being. The Pope joked about being called a pawn, leaving it up to others to decide. The Pope also answered questions on other topics, repeatedly expressing concern about the harm caused by Mexico's drug violence. But he didn't meet with the families of the 43 missing students in Guerrero State, a sensitive issue for the government. The Pope wanted to meet them in Juarez, but couldn't because of practical issues and disagreements among the families. He expressed sadness about Mexico's drug violence, saying it's a huge pain he's taking with him and that Mexico doesn't deserve this suffering. The Pope was asked about the ongoing issue of sexual abuse by clergy members. He defended his actions on the matter, even though some people think he's not doing enough. He listed the steps he's taken to speed up the process of dealing with these cases in the Vatican's court system, but he admitted that they need to work faster because they're still behind in many cases. The Pope called sexual abuse by clergy members a horrible thing and said that bishops who covered up for abusive priests by moving them to different locations should step down from their positions. He didn't mention the recent controversy where a member of the Special Commission for Protecting Minors was suspended, but he emphasized the importance of taking action against sexual abuse. With all the Pope and Donald Trump have said, why is Pope Francis so against being convinced Donald Trump is a genuine Christian? Trump's public declarations of God. Well, it's because of the things Donald Trump publicly said during his presidential campaigns in 2015 and 2016, and recent ones in 2024. Donald Trump is using more religious language in his campaign, and it seems to be working well for him. He is likely to win the Republican nomination for president again, and his support among evangelical Christians and other conservative Christians is still very strong. Some of Trump's supporters believe that he shares their Christian values and that he is the best person to lead America. For example, Kimberly Vaughn from Kentucky said that Trump supports Jesus and that America needs Jesus to succeed. She expressed her support for Trump while attending one of his campaign rallies near Dayton, Ohio. At a recent Trump rally, many people wore clothes with religious messages like, "Jesus is my savior," "Trump is my president," and "God, guns, and Trump." One man's shirt even showed a picture of Jesus putting his hands on Trump's shoulders with the slogan, "Make America Godly Again." Many people at the rally believed that Trump shared their Christian beliefs and values. These supporters often mentioned issues like opposing abortion and gender appropriation rights, especially related to transgender people. Regardless of Trump's past controversies and current legal troubles, including allegations of hiding payments to a porn actor during his last campaign, his supporters didn't seem to worry about it. Instead, they saw Trump as a symbol of second chances, reflecting their religious belief in forgiveness and redemption. For many people, Trump represents two important values: Christianity and patriotism. Tammy Houston from Ohio believes that Trump shares her beliefs in God and supports the military and America. Sherry Cotterman, also from Ohio, agrees, saying that she prioritizes her family and, on a larger scale, America. She prefers a president who acknowledges they need God's strength over their own abilities. This perspective on Trump is definitely not new. Many people see him as a champion of their values and beliefs. They believe he shares their commitment to Christianity and patriotism, and that he will prioritize America's interests. This belief in Trump's values and priorities is a common theme among his supporters. Most white evangelical Christians, about 8 out of 10, voted for Trump in both 2016 and 2020, according to surveys by AP Votecast and Pew Research Center. Despite having other conservative Christian options in the recent Republican primaries, Trump's support from this group has remained strong. In the early primary contests in Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, Trump won between 55% and 69% of white evangelical voters, according to AP Votecast. This shows that Trump's legal issues and allegations of misconduct have not weakened his support among this important group of voters. They continued to stand behind him, even when other conservative Christian candidates were available. It didn't end there. Donald Trump even went so far as to criticize his opponent, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, for signing laws that restrict abortion. In the past, some of Trump's supporters have tried to portray him as supportive of the gender appropriation community. Still, Trump has been accused of many wrongdoing, including trying to overturn the 2020 election results and falsifying business records to influence the 2016 election by paying hush money to porn actor Stormy Daniels. Trump is the only Republican candidate facing numerous criminal charges, and he has a history of controversial business ventures, multiple divorces, and allegations of sexual misconduct, one of which was proven in a civil court. Yet amidst all these issues, Republican primary voters still chose Trump overwhelmingly. This shows that his supporters are willing to overlook his flaws and controversies to support him. Some conservative evangelicals are unhappy with Trump's use of religious symbols and language, seeing it as insincere and hypocritical. They believe he lacks genuine faith and is accused of serious wrongdoing. Yet he uses divisive rhetoric and seeks authoritarian power. These critics argue that Trump's supporters are ignoring his flaws and inconsistencies on issues like abortion. Karen Swallow Prior, a Christian author and scholar, has spoken out against evangelical support for Trump. She notes that in the past, some supporters hoped Trump shared their faith, but now they are convinced of it, even with his unclear stance on important issues. Prior believes that Trump's supporters have become more included in their beliefs, ignoring or downplaying his inconsistencies and controversies. They have become more confident in their support, even though Trump's actions and words are clearly the direct opposite of their values. How convinced did the public become? Did they believe Trump or think he's a fake like Pope Francis? The public's view on the Trump versus Pope Francis drama at a Trump rally in Ohio. Some people said they believe Trump has changed his ways and is now following a Christian path. They think he has repented or said sorry for his past mistakes and is starting fresh. One person, Vaughn, said that everyone has made mistakes, but Jesus forgave sinners and sat with them, so Trump deserves the same chance. She believes it's not about Trump's past, but about his future and the direction he wants to lead the country. The Ohio rally, like other Trump events, featured a special version of the national anthem sung by people who were convicted of crimes related to the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol. Trump has called these individuals patriots. This move is seen as controversial by some, as it seems to downplay the seriousness of their actions, but for Trump supporters, it's a sign of his commitment to forgiving and giving second chances, which matches their Christian beliefs. At the entrance of the rally, a group was handing out pamphlets with a message about faith and politics. They encouraged people to trust in Jesus Christ for salvation and to support the J6 Patriots, a term used to describe those who were involved in the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol. On January 6, 2021, thousands of rioters, many coming from the Save America rally, stormed the U.S. Capitol as Congress meant to certify the 2020 presidential election results. One attendee, Caleb Cinnamon, a 37-year-old from Dayton, identified as a Christian and said that opposing abortion is his top priority. Cinnamon praised Trump for taking action against abortion, unlike other Republicans who have promised to do so, but failed. He credited Trump's 3 Supreme Court appointments for the 2022 decision that overturned Roe v. Wade, a landmark case that had legalized abortion nationwide. Cinnamon believes Trump is the first president to not only speak out against abortion, but also take concrete steps to stop it. He was frustrated with previous Republican promises to act on abortion that went unfulfilled. Jody Picagli from Ohio said that her Catholic faith and her views on abortion are very important to her. She strongly believes in the right to life and thinks that morals are very important. She feels that the country's moral compass is off track and that religion and church are needed to guide it back on track. While Jody knows that the Supreme Court has given the power to make abortion laws to the states and President Trump may not be able to change abortion laws, she still trusts him to never support abortion. She mentioned that Vice President Kamala Harris visited a Planned Parenthood clinic, which she disagrees with. Jody and other Christian Trump supporters also care about other issues like foreign policy, immigration, gas prices, and inflation, not just religious ones. As if Jody's words weren't enough, an expert on American Christianity and white supremacy, Robert Jones, had something to say too. Robert wasn't surprised by the strong support for Trump from evangelicals, but he pointed out that a 2023 poll by the Public Religion Research Institute found that less than half of white evangelicals considered abortion a critical personal issue. Instead, they prioritized other issues like human trafficking, public schools, inflation, immigration, and crime. Jones debunked the common belief that white evangelicals support Trump solely because of abortion. He suggested that Trump's rhetoric on immigration, which portrays immigrants as a threat to American culture and heritage, resonates with his evangelical audience. This shows that their support for Trump is driven by a broader range of issues and values, rather than a single issue like abortion. Robert Jones says that the phrase, "Make America Great Again," has a hidden meaning that connects to a vision of America as a country mainly for white Christians. This vision is not directly stated, but it is implied and resonates with some people. While this vision may seem exclusive, Jones notes that Trump has attracted supporters from different racial backgrounds, like Senator Tim Scott, who is black. The Ohio rally was mostly attended by white people, but there were also some black and other ethnic groups present, showing that Trump's appeal is not limited to one racial group. At a recent convention for conservative religious broadcasters, Trump received applause for promising to protect Christianity and God in public life. He vowed to protect Christianity in schools, the military, and the government, and to promote content that supports God. Donald Trump promised to create a special team to fight against what he sees as attacks on Christians in America and gender ideology, which he believes goes against God's creation of 2 genders, male and female. Trump's rallies often use symbols and language that appeal to Christian nationalists who believe America was founded as a Christian country and want Christianity to have a privileged place in public life. Trump endorsed a special edition of the Bible that includes important American documents and patriotic songs like "God Bless the USA." According to Robert Jones, this Bible is tailored to appeal to white evangelicals who see themselves as the true heirs of America's founding ideals. In fact, a recent poll found that about half of white evangelicals believe God intended America to be a promised land for European Christians. Donald Trump's political rallies have become so similar to religious services, he has even shared a video that shows him in a messianic light, claiming he has a divine mission. Trump reinforces this idea by saying that his opponents are not just attacking him, but also the people who support him. He positions himself as a protector of his followers, standing in the way of those who seek to harm them. According to Mark Devine, a Baptist pastor and professor from Alabama, conservative Christians support Trump because they believe Democrats have an evil agenda that threatens their values and way of life. They see Trump as a shield against the things they fear, such as abortion, gender ideology, border security, and pandemic restrictions that close churches. Devine argues that Trump's supporters want to protect themselves, their communities, and the nation from what they perceive as a harmful and oppressive movement that seeks to impose its will on them. We're not done yet. At a recent Trump rally in Ohio, some attendees believed that the United States or its founding documents like the Bill of Rights have Christian roots, but historians disagree with this view. Some Trump supporters expressed their desire for a more Christian America, where Christianity plays a larger role in public life. Thomas Isbell, a vendor who has sold merchandise at Trump rallies across the country, reported that his God, guns, and Trump shirts are extremely popular. He believes that the United States is a Christian nation and, if he were president, would only allow public worship by Christians. He emphasized that he wouldn't permit the construction of temples or places of worship for other religions in the country. By the end of 2015, everyone was very aware of Pope Francis' doubts about Donald Trump's Christianity. This was initially caused by Trump's controversial comments about Senator John McCain's heroism. Then it just increased as Trump continued to claim to be a devout Christian. At the same time, Trump made some shocking statements about his faith during a question-and-answer session at the Family Leadership Summit in Ames, Iowa. The Family Leadership Summit is an event organized by several Christian groups that hold conservative views on social issues. These groups include the Family Research Council, which lobbies for policies aligned with their beliefs; Liberty University, which is the largest evangelical university in the world; and the National Organization for Marriage, which was established to prevent same-sex marriage from becoming legal. Trump's comments at this event caught the attention of Pope Francis and led to questions about his true beliefs. Donald Trump, who has expressed opposition to abortion and same-sex marriage, revealed that people are often surprised to learn about his Christian beliefs. He shared that he is a Presbyterian and attends church, emphasizing his love for God and his church. When asked by moderator Frank Luntz if he has ever sought forgiveness from God, Trump replied that while he hasn't explicitly asked for forgiveness, he participates in Holy Communion, a sacred Christian ritual. Trump explained that when he takes communion, he feels cleansed and renewed. He views this act as a way of seeking forgiveness and starting anew. Instead of dwelling on past mistakes, Trump focuses on moving forward and making things right. His comments show his faith is very involved in his life, even if he doesn't always follow traditional religious practices. What's your opinion on Donald Trump being a Christian? Do you believe he's getting genuine? We would love to know in the comments. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to leave a like, share it with your family and friends, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next updates.